Hey everybody, welcome. Um, this stream I'm just going to be working on random little project I just thought of this morning that I thought would be interesting. Be less formal than my other streams where I try to hack on something in 30 minutes. This is just going to be, I'm just going to work on some code. I hope it's interesting and it'd be nice to kind of chat and discuss what's going on. So the thing I want to work on today is based on a tweet that I saw, as all good things are, discussing NEP 29. Now, NEP is the NumPy enhancement program. This is like Python's PEP, where people submit enhancement proposals to Python and they get debated and reviewed and eventually implemented. NumPy has a similar kind of method, I guess. Process is the word I was looking for. Where you can submit things to NumPy. And one of the NEPs is NEP 29. So I'm just gonna switch straight over to my browser so you can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, so this is my page for my stream. So you can go to constrain.dev and check it out. So today we are doing a half-day hack here, right? More casual on fly on the wall type stream. Lots of chat encouraged. So if you are watching, please chat. So I'm going to go to NEP 29. NEP 29. So somebody submitted this proposal. It's been accepted and implemented, like enhance NumPy. So lots of kind of community-based stuff in Python projects are referred to this way. And NEP 29 is all around which Python versions should NumPy care about, and which NumPy versions should support which Python versions. As time goes on, at the beginning of the year, we dropped Python 2 completely everywhere. Python 2 is no longer supported. Lots of packages dropped support for Python 2, which is fantastic. It's been such a long time coming. So this is kind of looking to the future of when do we drop different versions of Python 3, and when can we, more importantly, when can we start using features from newer versions of Python 3 in our code? So the proposal here suggests that, let me read it out. When a project releases a new major or minor version, we recommend they support at least all minor versions of Python introduced and released in the prior 42 months from the anticipated release date, with a minimum of 2 minor versions of Python, and all minor versions of NumPy released in the prior 24 months from the anticipated release date, with a minimum of 3 minor versions of NumPy. So what that generally means is when you release your package, you should support all versions of Python that came out in the last 42 months, and that should always include at least 2 versions of Python. So this is kind of this. We've got like a bit of a timeline here to kind of help visualize that, and it's kind of showing, right. Python 3.5 came out 2015. Python 3.6 came out in 2016. And so on and so on. And so you kind of have this timeline. You've got your release dates of different Python versions. And you're kind of showing, right, this is where we should support different versions out to. And so there's also a support table here that says these kind of specific dates that are coming up. So in January, when we dropped Python 2, all packages should generally support Python 3.6 or above, because 3.6, 3.7, and 3.8 all came out in the prior 42 months. But then on the 23rd of June, it will be 42 months since 3.6 came out. So the idea is that at this point, we should drop Python 3.6 and all packages should move to supporting 3.7 and above. So at the moment, that'll be 3.7, 3.8. Now, this is kind of how NumPy are handling it. And this kind of includes their own versioning as well. But I'm kind of treating this as my own rough guide for when can I start using features in specific versions of Python. So as of now, anything in Python 3.6 is like the minimum that should be supported in any package, really. And any features in Python 3.6 are game, right? But then in a week's time, on the 23rd of June, we should move to 3.7 as being the baseline for supported Python versions, which means 3.6 shouldn't be supported anymore. And it also means as a developer, any features that were added in 3.7 should become available to you, which is great. And then, there's some NumPy specific stuff here, but then we got it marked that in December 2021, so December of next year, is when Python 3.8 should become the new baseline. And then April 2023 is when Python 3.9 should become the new baseline. Now that's good to know. You've got like 18 months between these releases or so. But keeping an eye on these things, I think would be good. The other thing I've kind of done in Opsdroid, which is a project that I work on in my spare time, in our documentation, we do have a page on Python versions. I can't remember where it is now. I think it's in maintaining supported Python versions. I think the support table seems to be a bit broken. So let's actually just have a look at the code for this. I need to fix that at some point. Opsdroid docs, maintaining supported Python versions. Okay, this table looks more like I'd expect it to be. So we've kind of got things a bit more specific here, but we're saying, Python 3.5 we started supporting in March 2016 and finished supporting in March 2019. 3.6 was June 17 to June 2020. And so we basically got like this. We're referring to NEP 29 here and saying you kind of NEP 29 states we should support any Python version released in the previous 42 months. This effectively covers the previous 2 releases of Python because it's an 18-month release cycle, and includes an additional 6 months to account for any fluctuations in release dates. And it also gives the community time to adopt new releases. In addition, we also endeavor to support new minor versions of Python within 6 months of their release. So Python 3.8 release date, October 14th, 2019. October 14th, 2019. I don't know. Things might be a bit wrong on here, actually. I might need to check these dates to make sure that they actually make sense. We've got, okay, 3.8 was released on October 14th of last year. But we should try and support 3.8 within 6 months. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April. By April 2020, that should be April 2020. That date is wrong. April 2020, we should add support for Python 3.8. Just check these dates and make sure I've got them right. 3.7 release date. June 2018, July, August, September, October, November, December 2018. December 2018. Okay, I think I might have just typoed that date. So Python 3.8 support should start April 2020. We support Python 3.8. April 2020 is in the past. We're on track with that. And we will support Python 3.8 through until April 2022. So we'll support it for 2 years. And I need to double check that is right. I think that should actually be 2023. Because we should support it for 3 years. I might actually add another column to this. I might say release date. Just to make this look make a bit more sense. Just button that out. Okay. I'm kind of getting slightly sidetracked here, but I'm just gonna make a quick pull request into the Opsdroid docs just to fix things. So I'm gonna go back in time as well. Python 3.5 release date Python 3.5 was September 2015. I'm going to do this on months. I don't really care about dates so much. This is September 2015. Oh, I need to. What have I done there? Badly typing. Okay, September 2015. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. I've got that right. March 2016 is when support should have started and probably did. But I'm also just going to copy that and I'll come through and fix these. So 3.6 release date was December 2016. So that was December 2016. Just line that up. So December, January, February, March, April, May, June. So by June, we should start support, which is correct. Let's go dedent that again. Okay, Python 3.7 release date. June 2018. June 2018. July, August, September, October, November, December. That makes sense. And then Python 3.8, which we already searched before. 3.8 release date, October 2019. So that'll be October 2019. Yeah, so it's released October 2019. So November, December, January, February, March, April 2020, and support that. So, you know, each from when Python version is released, the support should start within 6 months. At least, you know, this is like a guaranteed start date for that. And then after that 6 months, we should then support that version for 3 years. And so for Python 3.5, that was September 2015. The support started March 2016 and ended March 2019. That is the 42 months. Right? The release date of this ends 42 months later, 3.5 years later. So we're now at the point where Python 3.6 came out in 2016. We added support in 2017. And support is about to end, right? We are now in June 2020. This is the end of the support. We actually did an Opsdroid release earlier. One of my maintainers, co-maintainers of Opsdroid, did a release this morning. And it will be the last release that supports Python 3.6. So going forwards, we will be Python 3.7 only. So we added 3.7 support in June 2018. No, it came out June 2018. Support was added by December 2018. And we'll run through with Python 3.7 support until December next year, December 2021. And then we've also got Python 3.8, which came out October of last year. Support should be in by April 2020, and we'll support that for 3 years. Now, I think we are, let me just check. I think we are running CI against 3.8. CI is running against 3.8. Yes, we do. And have we updated the setup? Setup 3.7. No, we should include 3.8 in there. I'm going to just open a new issue for this quickly and just say, I'm going to say add 3.8 support to setup.py. So we've been running CI against 3.8 for a while now. We should update the metadata in setup.py to explicitly state we support 3.8. Yeah, actually. Right. I'm just going to triage that as a, I guess that's a documentation thing. I kind of want some help with that. It'd be nice if somebody comes in and puts in a pull request just to add that. It should be quite an easy one to work out. So get rid of that. I'm gonna, oh yeah, I'm going to say also we should also update the support table. And let's link to it. I don't want to link to me editing it though. Supported versions. Also link to the support table to say we support 2.8 support table. Fine. You know what? I'm editing this on main Opsdroid. I normally do this locally with Git properly, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel that. And I just copy that content because I care about that. I'm going to cancel this edit. I'm just going to come to my fork. Am I? Yeah, I am. I'm going to come into docs, maintaining, go to Python versions, edit my fork, and I'm going to paste what I just added. And I'm going to say add release dates and fix typo in 3.8 start date. I'm just going to make a new branch for this. Just say support table 3.8. So making a new branch. But then I don't want to make a pull request into my master branch. I want to make it against the upstream. So let's go here, 3.8, make a pull request. There we go. So now against Opsdroid from mine, I've just got this change of add release dates and fix typos 3.8 to the support table. I'm going to be really bad, just delete all of that. Yeah, fixed some dates in the support table and added the release dates to make future class easier. And this is documentation pull request. Documentation. Right. That should be fine. Okay. Hey, Cassius. So yeah, Opsdroid is a bot framework written in Python. It's something I've been working on for a while, and I'm going to be using it in the stream to make a quick Twitter bot. But you can use it for making bots that chat on Slack or Matrix or wherever. We'll dig into that in a little while if you stick around. So right, I've got my support table, which is kind of where I wanted to get to. Now we're dropping Python 3.6 support in June, and we need to. We've already started 3.8 support. We kind of just need to keep track of these dates, but they're like so far apart that it's easy to forget, right? It's like renewing SSL certificates. Like you schedule them out so far in the future that you forget basically that they are going to expire. Sorry, I just want to get my chat open actually on my phone so I can see it. So what I thought of doing, the tweet I saw this morning was like, oh, has anybody got some kind of reminder service to remind me of when to do these kind of long-term things, SSL certificate failing or renewals or changing supported Python versions because they're so far out, right? We're thinking about something happening now, but then the next thing that's going to happen isn't going to be until December next year. I guess I could put something in my calendar. But what I thought would be quite nice would just be to have reasonably, because this is like it's a NEP and specific to NumPy. Opsdroid's got its own things. I want to have a bot that's maybe slightly opinionated. We could always discuss it, like if people want to fix things. But I want to have a bot that is kind of tweeting occasionally to say, so Please say customer start support April, currently June, and it's not supported yet. That's software dev in a nutshell. So, well, okay. So to be fair, we did. Opsdroid does support 3.8, but things are just out of date. I don't know if you saw me raise an issue a minute ago just to say we need to update the documentation and the setup.py just to say we do support 3.8. We added it to the CI and everything's fine, but we just forgot to update the docs. But I like to open quick, small issues, especially for like newbies in open source. If they want to pick something up. I don't know if I actually labeled it up correctly. I put help wanted, but this is quite a nice beginner. Good first issue, low hanging fruit. Let's stick some more labels on. Hopefully people will find that and just say, yes, please come in and fix our documentation, and it will help you learn Git at the same time. Why has that failed? Fine, I think that's unrelated. So let me come back to where I was. Docs, maintaining, modify the versions. Right, so we do support, currently we support those 3 versions. I know it says it doesn't, but we do support those 3 versions. But we're going to drop 3.6. So as of the next release, we will only support 3.7 and 3.8. And that's great, but we need to actually do that work. As you can see, it's easy to forget to update these things because these timescales are so long. So yeah, I'm going to write a little bot that just tweets periodically saying so many months until you should drop this support, or so many months until you should start this support. And I'm being a little opinionated about we should support a new Python version within 6 months of their release. This is kind of a thing that's not, I don't think it's in NEP 29, but I think it's like a good thing to have, right? It's to say when a new version comes out, you've got 6 months to support it, basically. And then once that 6 months happens, there's some changes between 3.6 and 3.7. There's not like let's just quickly Google what's new in Python 3.7 and find some nice old articles from when that release came out. So yeah, there's some async stuff changed. Async and await now have keywords, which kind of makes sense anyway. But that might break some stuff. There's a new breakpoint function, which is lovely. If you've not used that, you can just whack breakpoint in your code, and when your code just gets to that point, you'll drop into PDB, which is really useful for debugging if you don't have like VS Code or something set up. Yeah, there's some general improvements to async IO, I think, around. I think you can just do async IO.run and stuff instead of having to set up an event loop. It will like handle all of that underneath. I think the things that we're particularly interested in Opsdroid is data classes. Will be great. We'll be able to add those in the future. Yeah, there's not like a huge. I feel like when we went to Python 3.6, there was like a bunch of stuff. There was like F strings and all sorts that we were very excited about being able to have. And let's just have a look at 3.8 as well. What can we look forward to in December of next year? Oh yeah, you've got like the walrus syntax, the walrus operator, so you can do funky assignments, a bit like Go assignments. And you can do positional only parameters, so you can kind of be a bit more explicit about what args and quargs are within your functions. I think you can also kind of limit whether a function even takes args, it only takes quargs, and that kind of thing. In a more, you can do all of this really in a more intuitive way. F-string support for self-documenting expressions and debugging. Okay, that sounds nice. I'm not going to get too into this because we're not going to have that for a while, but soon we will have 3.7, so that's exciting. So what I'm going to do is try and remember what I was doing. I am working on a bot. Yeah, I mean, Python is a nice programming language. I write it the majority of the time. I like the whole like PEP thing in that like anybody from the community can write a PEP and submit it. And kind of say, I think Python should change in this way because there's some new need or some new requirement that we think if the language evolved in a certain way, then it would benefit the community, and then it can be debated and discussed, and they have steering council meetings and all sorts, and then eventually they decide whether or not the base language will be changed. And you get releases every 18 months or so. So the language does move forward. And like, I think, you could write an application. Depends what you're doing. You could write an application that's targeted at 3.5, and that application will run on 3.5 as long as you bundle it with a Python 3.5 interpreter. That'll run for forever, and you don't need to worry about things. But I think because libraries like NumPy and Pandas and you kind of data science libraries are designed to be used by data scientists all day, every day, who are writing code as part of their job. So kind of moving with the language is really important, and keeping up to date with the language, because people are going to want to use new language features if their job involves writing code. Whereas if somebody's job isn't writing code, if it's just using an application, I'll get to this in a bit, right? But I installed Glances before so that I could just have a look at what one of my servers was doing. I don't care what version of Python Glances is written in. The Glances developers are the only ones that really care about that. And if they want to pin to an older version, great, as long as they're making sure they're pulling in security fixes and things. They don't necessarily care about language changes, and I don't care about language changes because I'm just using an application. Whereas with Opsdroid, because it's like a library to be used by people who write code, let's just have a quick look at the docs just so you can see Opsdroid.dev documentation. Let's go to skills and just have a look at a very quick example, right? So you can write a little Python script where you import a skill and you import a matcher. So this is a regular expression matcher, and you make a class, and then you write some functions, and you say this function should match regular expressions. It's a bit like Flask if you use Flask for matching web like API request routes. This matches if somebody in your chat says hi, then you should call this function, and this function responds with hey, right? And then you can figure it all up so it connects to Slack or wherever. And you can write all different rules, and you can do all sorts of different complex things. But the whole point of Opsdroid is it's a tool for people who are writing scripts to automate things. So those people are writing code as part of their job or as part of the workflow that they're doing. So they probably want to use up-to-date language features, maybe. And so we should continually be rolling and evolving and supporting new Python versions, because we're kind of acting as although Opsdroid is like an application that you install and you run, the way that you configure Opsdroid is you write Python code. So we should support Python code. So what I want to do is I want to use Opsdroid, partly just to test out version 0.19, and I'm going to connect it up to Twitter. Okay, what have you said now? I updated the Python Discord bot I wrote from 2.7 to 3.7 and worked with a few changes. So Opsdroid's, I think it's cool, but I created it, so I will think it's cool. We don't have Discord support at the moment, so sorry, you won't be able to move your bot over to Opsdroid at the moment, but we definitely want support for all different chat things at some point. So if anybody wants to add Discord support to Opsdroid, that would be much appreciated. If you go to the connectors section of the docs, we have a list of what we support at the moment. And interesting, Twitter's not on that list. I'm sure we do have a Twitter connector. I might need to actually double check this. And maybe my whole idea here is flawed because the Twitter connector never got migrated in. So Opsdroid is very plugin based, and plugins used to be like all third party. And we started pulling in like ones that we wanted more control over into the core a while back now. But yes, it'd be lovely to have Discord support. But yeah, going from 2 into 3 depends how you write your code, right? It should be relatively easy to run old code against newer versions of Python, because most of the time it's backward compatible. Obviously, 2 there were breaking changes, and that was a big issue. But I'm glad that process was pretty straightforward for you. But yeah, let's moving forward, if people write some code for Opsdroid in Python 3.6 and we drop support for Python 3.6, it's quite likely that code will still work. There may be some breaking changes in 3.7, but I doubt it's going to be anything hugely impactful. But it does mean they can start using new features in 3.7 if we kind of pin the minimum version to 3.7. My favorite example is f strings, right? F strings are just they're a way of formatting a string in Python. They're much more pleasant than using the percent operator from the olden days. It's much more pleasant than doing like dot format on a string. It's just a much nicer way of formatting strings. And I was really excited when we said, right, Opsdroid now supports 3.6 and above. We could start using F strings, and it just made life so much easier and kind of helps you reduce and simplify code. So let's figure out why Twitter's not in this list. Is it a flaw in our documentation or is it a flaw in Opsdroid? Go to Opsdroid, connector. Oh, there is no Twitter connector. I'm sure there was a Twitter connector. In a pull request? Bitch, SMS, connect to Twitter. Oh gosh, this might get a bit more interesting. Okay, I'm pretty sure I could use a Discord support working if I put some time in. I'll look into it. And yeah, F strings make things so much cleaner. My brain still defaults that way. Yeah, I know what you mean. And also, I mean, I work on tons of different Python projects, and I can never remember which one supports which version of Python. So I often write like format, like dot format, because I'm just never sure. Like, does this support 3.6 and above, or is this supporting 3.5? Yeah, basically everything I work on now is 3 at least, so that's good. But yes, please do, if you feel like contributing some time and code to Opsdroid, we'd really appreciate that. And also having somebody who is then going to use Opsdroid with Discord to kind of be continually testing it and making sure that it works. We'd really appreciate that. I think that's one of the challenges we have in Opsdroid is there's a whole list of connectors here. I don't use all of them, right? You know, there's no reason for me to use all of them. So it's nice to have people in the community that are using them and we know them and they are vocal and they are also happy to fix things. So we try to be a very welcoming community. If you want to come and join in, please do. We're happy to help through pull requests and things. Sometimes pull requests get stuck. This one seems to have gotten stuck. I just come in. I don't want to read that comment in the state that it's in. Let me go like that. Right. I have a bad habit of editing other people's comments on GitHub to fix the formatting. I don't like as a maintainer, you're able to do that. I don't know if that's like feel a bit mean. It's like, oh, you've not formatted your comment well enough. I'm going to come and fix it. But yeah, okay. Might just be a Windows issue. So we have a Twitter connector, but I think we need to get this merged. How does this actually work? I want to focus on writing a bot to tweet, but if we don't have Twitter support, I merged in, yeah, then I should have this. Now, this has actually come in because we used to have a Twitter plugin, which is here. I assume this is where the code came from. And I have not touched it for a while. And so this is back when we had a third-party system. So I don't necessarily want to listen. Okay, running an executor. The fact that you support WebSockets also means theoretically you could modify support Twitch as well. So, yeah, so we do have a pull request in for Twitch support. Progress Twitch, Twitch connector. So Fabio streams on Twitch regularly. He works on Opsdroid and has been testing out this connector for a little while on Twitch now. And this is we got into the same confusion actually, right? We have this WebSocket connector isn't for connecting to things which use WebSockets. This is for starting a WebSocket server, and so you can write your own applications that connect to Opsdroid. But you just kind of take that and base off it. Like WebSockets in Python are pretty easy. So in the Twitch connector, we've gotten reasonably long now, I think. Let's have a look. So the way that connectors in Opsdroid works is there's a connector base class that you import. Lots of helper functions in here, and there's a few methods that you have to implement. There's a connect. I'll find the default. Yeah, connect. You have to implement connect. So this does things like authenticating and setting things up and doing whatever you need to do. And this gets run when Opsdroid starts. And then Opsdroid has like two phases, right? It's almost like if you've done Arduino programming, it's the same kind of idea. You have like a function that gets called once to set things up, and then you get a function that is called repeatedly on a loop forever. And you have the same kind of thing, almost, right? You have this connect function where you have to set things up, and then we also have a listen function. You actually have to do your own loop, but the listen function will get called when Opsdroid goes into listening mode. And then there's also a disconnect function that will get called when we disconnect. So in this case, connect is authenticating, grabbing tokens and whatever else. And then listen consumes from the WebSocket. And every time it gets a message from the WebSocket, it passes it into Opsdroid, and Opsdroid handles it. We have a whole like class-based event system. And then once that ends up going into the core of Opsdroid, and then users can write their own skills. So somebody would just come along and they configure it and say, here's I want to use Twitch, here's my API token, and I want to write a skill. And then you write skills kind of as I showed here. So you would match, somebody has said hi in the Twitch chat, and I want to respond with hey. And this, when you call message.respond, this gets handed back internally to the Twitch connector, and that would end up coming through. You write functions to say you register events. So this, when you respond to a message, right? This is a message coming in. You respond to a message, it calls message back through. So register event message. This function will be called in order to respond, and you have to handle like what does that look like. And that's actually there's another function called send message here, and this does stuff.websocket.send string and formats into the way that Twitch expects. So that's great. So the Twitter one is going to be similar. Oh, this is frustrating. Actually, I hadn't realised that this wasn't done. This hack session may actually turn into yeah, no, please don't be sorry. This is like I'm just kind of messing about, basically. I'm always keen to get people interested in Opsdroid. But yeah, I'm gonna. I think in order to do the thing I was doing, I'm gonna have to fix the Twitch connector and get it in anyway. There's no tests. Oh, there are some tests. Trying to decide what to do. This is going to be a bit time consuming. Maybe this feed is going to turn into working on this. Let's just have it. Let's start Googling. Let's have a look and go Python Twitter async IO, just as a start. See what libraries we have for asynchronous Twitter. So Opsdroid uses async IO for like everything. Well, yeah, exactly. It's getting meta already, and not quite what I intended to be doing now. That's fine. Let's see. What does this library do? So there's like a couple of things. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So I tend to normally when I stream, I'm doing it quite rigidly, right? I have like this format where I pick a GitHub issue that I think I can solve pretty straightforwardly, and I just work through it, and I set myself a timer, try and do it in 30 minutes. I have like an overlay, I can turn it on actually. Yeah, 30-minute pull request. And I start a timer and I work through in 30 minutes to try and solve an issue. And open a pull request, and I'm hoping that it's kind of showing a bit of what I'm working on, highlighting the projects that I'm working on, showing people a bit, here's how to contribute to a GitHub project. So it's a very like rigid process, and it pretty much goes to plan every time. I mean, I don't always manage it in 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 40 minutes, and I technically like fail, but I still get the pull request in. Whereas this, I wanted to do is a bit more of a free form thing. This is why I called this feed half day hacks, right? This is me kind of doing something a bit more gnarly and kind of something that I think may take me off on these weird tangents, just like this, right? The fact that I have no idea that the Twitter connector's like not even working. So let's right. I'm hesitating a bit, right? Because what I've done is oh, I've not got my scene switcher turned on. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of in order to get to like a more complex goal. Like the issues I have to pick for 30-minute pull request are very like narrow scope, tightly defined. I've often written the issue myself because I feel like, oh, you know, as I'm working through the day, I'll find something and it's like, oh, I could do that. That would take me 20 minutes. I'll make an issue for this, and then I'll next time I do 30-minute pull request, I'll pick this up and factor it. But it means that I don't tackle big things or things that might be more interesting. I feel like 30-minute pull request might get a bit repetitive because I'm just doing little tweaks and little changes and little fixes. But that's, you know, that's software development life, right? There's little tweaks and fixes and changes and writing unit tests and writing documentation and all these kind of things, which is what I'm trying to expose. Whereas this is more, you know, I've got like a broad goal. I want to try and write a Twitter bot which tweets out, you have 703 days left to add support for, to drop support for Python 3, whatever. Yeah, so in order to host these bots, like you have to run Opsdroid somewhere. You can run it on a VM, you can run it on your own machine, you can, you know, I sometimes run them on Heroku or wherever. But one thing that I did for this is I made myself a VM. I have a server kind of sat down near me, and I made a VM called bots because I want to start making funny little bots that do things, maybe Twitter bots that tweet things, specifically thing like bots that I want to follow so that I can see what the bot's saying. And so I made this VM, which is why I was talking about glances before, because I installed glances, just so I could show what the VM looks like. Hooray! So this is a Debian machine. It's got, I only gave it one core. I could give it more cores. I'm curious to see actually how much it needs. I gave it 4 gig of RAM. And that was just because like, Opsdroid doesn't need a huge amount of RAM. You can get away with like 256 meg. You'd be fine. You probably stay in that limit. You could maybe even go as low as 128. Like it doesn't use much at all. It often depends on the chat that you're connecting to and how. If we're using a library that somebody else has written, like for Slack, we use the Slack official Python library. We're kind of, it's on them to handle like how memory intensive that is, and then also down to the skill developers in what they're putting in memory. A lot of bots that I run, kind of you see it hanging around are like tens to hundreds of megabytes of RAM usage. But one of the things we do support in Opsdroid is advanced natural language understanding. So we have matches, which you will find in the matches section. Yeah, yeah. The CPU is not really doing anything, right? It's just VMware giving some strange results. It's definitely not 100 degrees, that's for sure. So yeah, we support advanced matches. So you can do regular expressions, and that's fine. That's kind of the most common use case, and you can do group matching and all sorts. So somebody says, you know, my name is, and you do like a little group match like this in regular expression, and my wife is called this. You can grab those values in the skill, which is useful, and that just uses regular expressions to unpack those. But that's like entry level. There's also pars. Is pars in this? Pars format. So there's a Python library called pars, which is like format but backwards. So you can give a string that looks like a format string that you would do in Python, and it works backwards. It unpacks the string. So those are like 2 basic examples, but it's far more interesting to use natural language. There's loads of third-party like things you can use. Dialogflow, which is Google's service, Lewis, Microsoft service. You know, SAP have got one that they bought recently. There's IBM Watson. There's Facebook's WIT. Right, these are all third-party natural language services. Um, they're super useful. You can do things like, you log into their service, you get an API token, and then in your skills, you just have a name of a thing, right? Get weather or something, and you match that and you write a function. And then in WIT, you create get weather, and then you just feed it loads of examples of people asking for the weather and saying, what is the weather like in London? And you say London is a word, it's a location, and you kind of teach it these things, and then they train some statistical model, and it works it out so that when Opsdroid receives a message, it says to WIT, what's this? And WIT uses its statistics to work it out and gives it back to you, and it calls it, which is super nice. There's like docs on all of this, but there's one called Rasa, which is an open source one that you can host yourself, and it requires 4 gig of RAM, 2 gig for training models, 2 gig for serving requests. So I made a VM with a bit of RAM on it just so that I could try running Rasa maybe at some point. It uses Spacey scikit-learn underneath to do stuff, but it's the same idea, right? So you say, oh, match greetings in Rasa NLU, and then you kind of define your intent here. So here's a load of examples. Hey, hello, hi, hiya, hey, what's up? And then if you say something similar to these, it will trigger that. Anyway, again, tangents. This is going to be a very tangenty feed, I think. Let's stop dances as well. I'm on this VM. I've got Docker installed. I was just going to run Opsdroid with the Docker images. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing, like the kind of stats that you can do. This is all like natural language understanding or natural language processing is like an AI field, if you want to call it AI. Like it's just stats. It's all stats. All of AI is just stats. But yeah, you can do some really awesome stuff. You don't need like a huge amount of resource anymore, or like you don't need to pay too much money for enough resource to do things like understanding language. So you can build stuff like Alexa or Google Assistant or whatever yourself. It's not easy, but one of the things I really wanted to achieve with Opsdroid is there's a load of these services, and there's a load of things similar to Opsdroid, right? Where you kind of have like a if this then that style. Somebody says this in a chat, you run this function here that the user's defined, and that does a thing, and it's useful for automation. But I wanted to like hook the two things together. So, somebody said this in a chat. Let's use natural language understanding to actually understand what that person said in the chat, and then we'll call the appropriate function. You could go further and say, well, let's use statistics then to try and work out what an appropriate answer is to that. But you end up with things that sound real but are not that useful, whereas this is trying to be like useful as well, but maybe not so real. You have to like script a thing. So I'm on this box. I was gonna run some Opsdroid bots on it, or at least one for today, but we haven't got the Twitter connector. That's just not going to work. So I'm trying to decide what to do. I might quickly set up a development environment here. Yeah, let's. I often have a folder called projects that I like to work on projects in. Mainly just because I'm like a Mac user. So yeah, there's nothing in there. But on a Mac, you have documents and photos and movies and whatever with a capital stack at the beginning. So I tend to make projects, which is where my projects live. And let's make a dir called Opsdroid as well in here, and so we set Opsdroid. And I'm actually gonna. I don't have any keys, do I? I need some SSH keys to clone that. I'm just in another terminal, so you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to SSH somewhere else. No, I'm not. What am I going to do? I am going to make some more keys. Let's just do this. SSH key then. Just generate some more SSH keys. We're going that. Yeah. Right, and then there's cat. Public key. And then let's just come to Opsdroid, and I don't think this will show me things. SSH and GPT keys. new SSH key, bots, add key. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. Add key. My password. Lovely. Right. I should now be able to clone that. Be able to clone Opsdroid. Let's do that. Clone Opsdroid. Git clone that is lovely. And I'm just going to install miniconda 3. Install. I like to use Conda for my Python environment workflows. You know, you don't have to do the same, but that's the way that I like to do things. So let's just, I'm just going to cd here and download that and install miniconda. We got that, yes. I have promise I've read it in the past. Right, pull that down. Yes, I want you to do that. And then let's bash. Good, right, now I have conda environment. So I'll do conda end list, conda environment. Let's do conda create Opsdroid, and we'll make this Python 37. Yeah, that'll do. Yes. We'll activate that. Opsdroid. Now let's cd back into project Opsdroid, and I will pip install. Let's pip install as e dot. So install Opsdroid. In development mode. Let's. I don't know if this will cause a problem, but I'm going to open folder projects Opsdroid. Open the code as well. Oh, maybe I didn't want to do that. I think I might have killed that. Let's just run it again. Okay. That's fine. So I've installed that, and then let's do pip install -r. We've also got requirements test, requirements dev, and requirements. We got docs requirements somewhere. Do you have read the docs? I think that. Do we want that? No, we don't want that. That's fine. Yeah, we just want to install our dev and test requirements as well. I kind of set myself up with a very quick Opsdroid dev environment on like a brand new VM. That's relatively easy. Okay, got a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, let's just do Opsdroid start. Make sure things work. Good. Opsdroid started. That's fine. I can actually this. How's that going to work? What's the IP address of this box? No, wrong system. Right, that's my LAN IP of that box. Running on 8080. Yay! Okay, so Opsdroid is running there. Good, fine. One thing, right? I bought a .dev domain, and I used a .dev domain for my internal network. But one thing with .dev is it enforces HTTPS, which is slightly annoying because I then can't serve random development. I couldn't have gone to the hostname, which is bots. I could have just gone to bots, but then it would have. I might actually be able to just go to bots. Bots. Okay. No, I need to go to the full domain, which is bots. .home.jacobtomlinson.dev. and it says, yeah, secure connection failed. Isn't I? So just go to IP. Yeah, whatever. Alright, that's fine. We started Opsdroid on version 0.19. Fine. Let's go down the route as if I was setting this up and doing what I wanted to do, and maybe I just need to tweak Opsdroid along the way. So let's just go to Twitter and make a new Twitter. Let's sign up and use email instead. Yeah, okay. So this will be NEP29 bot, and I'm gonna. My email address is. You're welcome to email me if you want to say hi. Yeah, this has already been taken, but it says Gmail. So I'm going to say Jacob plus NEP29bot at thomason.email. Fine, next. What are these things? No, I don't think I want any of those things. Create your account, sign up. Okay. We've emailed you a thing. Let me find my phone. What is the thing? It is 585567. Right, now I want a password. Good. Let's let my password manager decide that. Right one. There is some high HB, nice long password. I'll do. Right, can I have this? Right, I'm going to put that in here. So, sorry, I know I'm flipping around to screens you can't see, but that's on purpose. I just want to add a new password. This is NEP29 bot. NEP29 bot, and the password is that. And that's, I'm choosing a username yet, so I'm just going to save that. Choose a profile picture. What do I want that to be? NEP29? What I might do is, I don't really want to design a logo for this at the moment. I might design a logo for this later. I guess I could design a logo for this now. Oh, I've gone on the wrong thing. Now I'm gonna be really random, and I'm just gonna take a screenshot of that. And can I just paste? No. Do it again. I'm taking a screenshot of a little bit of this page, and I know you can't see it. And then can I just go like that? No, I can't just go like that. Where did that screenshot go? Confusing me. And do it one more time. Pick the thing. What happens? Done. There we go. Then that there. Yay! Right. My profile picture is a little bit of the NEP29 page. Your bio. I am a bot which tells you how long you need to support different Python versions, all according to NEP29. Fine. Keep that for now. I don't want to follow anyone. Don't want any notifications for now. Right. I don't feel like I put in a handle at any point, but this is NEP29. I want to change that. I don't want to be. I don't know why it gave me that name. NEP_29 is fine now, I guess. Right, whatever. I've got this Twitter account, which is fine. That's good. I want this bot to tweet. Say, hello, you have so many days left until the thing you want to do is happening. And then what I want to do is just thinking I could maybe even do this without at the moment, without a connector. I want a connector, but let's just have a quick look and just see async.io Twitter. This thing looked good, didn't it? So you can use auth dance to authorize your client. Open a browser to get in to authorize your application. Well, let's try it. I need a consumer key and a consumer secret, don't I? How am I going to keep those secret from you? That's a fun challenge that we will come to in a minute. What's going on here? Don't know my title updated properly. Right. Okay, so you create a client like that, and then you can say status is post. Yeah. And that is a coroutine, so I can just await that. Or I might just not even do this as a connector. I might just do this as a skill, which isn't quite the point, but I can always update this in the future. So I need to get a consumer key and a consumer secret from somewhere, and then generate an access token and an access token secret. Fine. Let's all of this. Right, I'm debating two things. I'm debating, should I work on the Twitter connector and make it work? I don't think I should, because I don't want this to go on for too long. I want to do this for maybe another hour, and then stop. So I am going to try and do this. Okay, look at it this way. I'm going to do this as a skill, and then if I finish, I might come back and try and do it properly as a connector. So I've got this checked out here. I don't really care. I'm going to come back out of that. And what I want to do is I'm going to cd into projects again. And I'm going to make a new directory, and I'm going to call it skill NEP29. And in skill NEP29, I'm going to make a init.py file. I might. Oh, hey Fabio. You need to register for the Twitter app to get all those things. What do you mean I need to register for the Twitter app? Do you mean, I assumed I'd just go to like developer Twitter, right? Developer Twitter. Something like this, right? Apps. Get an app. Oh. Making a bot as a hobbyist. Is this a thing that I need to do? Oh, I'm gonna have my phone number. Right. I'm gonna do this so you can't see. Oh right, does that take a while? Does it? Maybe that's not good then. Right, I'm just getting a code one. And I had to put in my mobile number, which I don't really want to reveal on the stream. Maybe it'll reveal that anyway. Maybe I'll have to change my phone number. Right. Fine. Fine. Select, where am I? In the UK. What would you like us to call you? NEP29 bot. Oh, that's not very good. No, I don't really want updates for the Twitter API. In English, please describe to us how you plan to use your Twitter data and or APIs. The more detailed response, the more easy it is to review and prove. I want to create a bot which periodically tweets useful information around the Python release dates. Python versions are released periodically, and generally projects should support versions for 24 months. No, it was 42 months. This bot will remind people when they need to remove support for old versions. Are you planning to analyze Twitter data? No. Will your app use tweet, retweet, like, or follow? Yes. Please describe your plan using these features. The bot will periodically tweet how long is left. Periodically tweet about I want to phrase this. The bot will periodically tweet a countdown of how long is left for supporting different versions of Python. You plan to use tweets to aggregate data about Twitter content? No. Your product service to analyze Twitter content? No. I'm literally just going to tweet. I just want the bot to tweet sometimes, say things that are useful. Next. Making a bot personal. I am, yes. In my words, yes, that looks good. I've done this before, so I'm going to tick the box and submit. You did it! Hooray! Well, that's even more frustrating. So I'm probably not going to be able to make the bot until I have that account. Oh, I'm sure it didn't used to be that difficult to get to make a Twitter bot. There's so many bots on Twitter. Right. What I'm going to do is right, looking at this code, once I have these things, I need to generate my access token and access token secret, generate a client, and then yeah, it's really frustrating. I've been through this kind of process before where you have to like apply to be a developer for specific reasons, but I don't know. I feel like Twitter is closing their platform down more and more these days, which is a shame. But that's fine. So from Opsdroid's point of view, I'm just going to copy and paste some code. I'm going to start with the skill documentation because I'm going to use a cron tab matcher. That's what I want to do. Cron tab. Yeah, let's copy this. I'm just going to start looking at stuff, basically. Even though this can't work, right? So here's my example skill. So this is just from the documentation. This is running match cron tab, which in Opsdroid speak it's like using cron on a machine. You have like a cron timing expression like this. You can set your time zone if you like, and it will call that function periodically every time the cron rule is true. So I'm going to call this send NEP29 tweet, and I'm going to run this every day. So at what a good time is. I think a good time would be 4 p.m. in London, because that's going to hit the US and Europe, and that's where I and most of my colleagues are in those two continents. So every day at 4 o'clock, I might even change it to something like once a week at 4 o'clock, but for now I would say every day at 4 o'clock. I'm going to send NEP29 tweets. I'm not going to use any of the built-in Opsdroid stuff, which is not great. This is going to be NEP29 skill. I don't need either of those. Yes, I do. Don't need that. Then from here, I need to create a client. I might put that in. Let's have an init. So args, plugs, super init, args, args. I might actually have a look at what that does in a minute, but I've just got that. I'm just going to say self.Twitter client equals that. I kind of want that to, let's just black that. And powers line 16. Oh yes, because I've just not done any code depth. Right. I should enable black on save on here really, but so these things I want to get from my Opsdroid config really. I assume that's what these do. Where's the Opsdroid config gone? Startup tasks. Setup. There we go. I'm just going to copy this. Don't actually. Ooh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to do that. I don't think you need to do super like that. I think you can Python super. I think you can just call super, can't you? And it works it out. Yeah, I'm just going to say super. All right, super init Opsdroid and config. This actually sets like self.opsdroid and self.config. I'm going to call this self.config.get that. Config.get. Ooh, I've not copied that right. And close this out. Fine. I really can't spell it now. Twitter client. So when Opsdroid is loaded and the skill gets loaded, it's going to grab those things from my Opsdroid config. That's your again. I've done it again. I'm actually going to change. I'm going to remove the yours. There we go. And we need this peony. What's it called? Peony. I actually need to import it. I don't have it as a dependency now, but anyway, this could be replaced with a connector and that was weird. Can you just confirm that you can hear me right there? I think my Bluetooth, I think all of my Bluetooth devices just disconnected. But I think my headphones are back now. Yes, we absolutely. Oh, cool, good. We absolutely should update the Twitter connector, but I felt like I was going to rabbit hole even further down there. I mean, I've been streaming for like an hour and a quarter, and I'm only at this point where I've just started writing an Opsdroid skill. I didn't want to like massively spiral off into actually working on Opsdroid. I'm trying to do a thing that I think would be useful giving like warnings of, oh, we should drop, different Python support versions. Anyway, I'm making a Twitter client, and then I just want to send a tweet. What I want to do, I'll just say in here, self.Twitter client, await, self.Twitter client, and my tweet goes here. Right. Yeah, I mean, I've not used this library before. Looks all right. It's async, so that's good. Kind of what I care about. From an Opsdroid point of view, I tend to just always Google, can I do this with what's the library for doing this? Async. What's the library for doing that async? But like, we should support way more. We should actually do a connector that can. There's like a couple of things you would probably want to do with Twitter, right? You would want, like, from a listening point of view, you would want to listen to DMs. And that would be like, I guess, a type of target. You would get like a message come in with a target of like DM and then like the DM ID or something. But then you would also probably want to listen to like mentions or comments as well, and those would be like different types. But I think the fact that we've got targets in the way that we do these days would probably make the connector a bit easier to implement. Just handle that. But if somebody tweets and mentions you, that should trigger like a message has come in. If you tweet and then someone comments on it, that should trigger like a message. Or if somebody DMs you directly, that should trigger. And then calling respond. Somebody mentions you, you should comment on that tweet. If somebody comments, I think you can comment on a comment, right? And then in a DM, it should just be like a DM response. So maybe there's a few different API calls for those things, and we need to work that out a bit. But that's kind of how you'd want two-way communication to work. But in this situation, I just want to send a tweet. So this would be, I would construct a message object and just send it. But I'm going to say tweet text x equals my tweet. Just so I can change that, because what we want to do is work out here. I'm going to put another matcher on here because I want to test this somehow. I might use the shell connector or something. So I'm going to match regex, match regex, and let's just match NEP29. Why not? So we'll run that on that as well. I want a logger as well, don't I? I tend to just copy these because I can never remember the syntax. That's probably the wrong place for a logger. Yeah, logger. Need to import logging as well, don't I? This is something I would like to sort out in Opsdroid. I want like self.logger.debug or something, so I don't have to do that. Self.logger.debug tweet text. I'm just going to comment that out now. Right. Let's just make sure that works. Not going to work because these things aren't installed and none of this exists. Yeah. Right. I'm going to comment that out as well. I will install it though. Let's do that. Let me activate Opsdroid. Is this right? So I've got it there for testing and things. So I will import it, but I won't use it. Now what I'm going to do now is I am Let's get an example configuration. Let's do Opsdroid. Opsdroid. Even. Oh, did I do my pips in the wrong place before? In the wrong environment? I'm done. Yeah, okay. That's nice. Just install Opsdroid quickly. And I'm going to install all my dev dependencies as well. We've got a lot of these. I don't think we need all of these anymore. Right. If I do Opsdroid config gen, yes, we get an example config. Let's just pipe that into configuration.yaml. And then let's open that as well. Okay. I'm just going to tidy up a bunch of this. Let's go like that. I want to keep that just in case. I'm going to keep the web config in case. Others I'm going to leave alone. Connectors, WebSocket. Oh yeah, Twitter is in here. This is why I thought we had Twitter connector in core, but it's not. It is using that still. Fine, I'm going to get rid of everything except the shell connector. Shell. I think I want to turn that on for testing. I'm not going to have any databases. Get rid of all that. I'm going to get rid of all these as well. Okay, NEP 29 path. I'm / projects / NEP skill NEP 29. That's where I am. Go for that. I'm going to get rid of the WebSocket. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of the WebSocket connector. Let's have the shell connector. And I'm going to leave the web section alone for now. Let's increment the logging section as well. Console false path. Yeah, fine. Let's set the log level to debug. Okay, that's fine. Then I want to do Opsdroid start -f. Hey, configuration. Right, so you can start Opsdroid with a -f flag, which is nice, and it just points you to your current configuration. You know, a configuration file that you specified. I think Fabio, you added that, right? I found that like super useful. So I've got my Opsdroid shell, and I should be able to say NEP29, NEP29. I didn't do anything. Why is it not doing anything? Let's tail -f. Opsdroid, no tail -f Opsdroid.log. Yeah, no, I think the CLI is much nicer now. Super helpful. Right, why didn't that start? I'm going to put this in here. Just say starting NEP 29 scale. Kill that, and again. Oh look, starting NEP 29 scale is there. Why is March Projects not working? NEP 29. Oh no, it is. It is working because I'm logging it. My tweet. If I say it again. Ah, if I press up in the shell connector, I want it to actually go through my Right, NEP 29. Okay. NEP 29. NEP 29. Good. I can see my skill is running. That's fine. It's going a bit mad. Get that. So what I want to do. Oh, what? As in, if I do Opsdroid logs minus F like that. Logs. I can't type. Logs. Now following logs in real time. NEP 29. It did not work. NEP 29. I think it might be looking in the wrong place for those. Let's just have a quick peek at what that's doing. And this is a slight tangent again. Logs. Default, yeah, okay. Open default log file name. We don't necessarily want that, do we? Can I tell it which log? No. Yeah. This is I changed this, didn't I? I changed it to this. I guess if I go like that and kill it and start it again. There we go. It's because I changed the path of the log file. It wasn't picking up the default log file location. I wonder if we should add really, what I think we should do, it feels a bit weird, is you should do like Opsdroid logs and tell it where the config is, and then it will follow the right log. But we use -F for the file path of where the config is, and -F will follow like tail does. That might get a bit messy. Anyway, I've just deleted the line from my config to tell it where. Yeah, no, it's yeah, okay. So the logs, you can't tell it which log to follow, but at the same time, if you know which file to follow, you can choose tail. Yeah, I'm not too worried. I'm just going to use the default log location, and then it will just work. That's nice. If I do NEP 29, is my tweet. Good. What I wanted to do is, while I'm waiting to enable these things by getting my access tokens and things, I actually want to work out. I just want to work out what I want my tweet to say. So the way I want to do that is NEP 29 date. What's this? NEP 29 calculator. That sounds fun. Package create. Okay. Features to do. Maybe there is no code here. Free alpha. BSD. Is there like a link to GitHub or something? Homepage. Okay. Maybe this is useful. Main argpars. Where are they getting their dates from? I don't know who this person is, but this is helpful. Okay. So NEP 29 is where do I start? In Python world, we have enhancement proposals, the enhancement program. So you have the PEPs. PEP 8 is the most well known, which is the proposal for like, this is how you should structure your code in Python. NEP is there's a Python library called NumPy, which is for doing like array maths really fast. And they have their own enhancement proposal called NEP, and you can propose like enhancements to the NumPy project. And one of the proposals, which I did have open here, is like a process for when should NumPy support new versions of Python, and when should they drop support for old versions of Python, and like what is new and old. And this has kind of been agreed that versions of Python should be supported for 3.5 years. So from release date, 3.5 years later, support should be dropped. So this has all kind of come about because we're now June 2020, which is the end of life for Python 3.6. According to NEP 29, right? It's up to everybody, like when they support different Python versions. But NumPy have said, NumPy have said we're going to drop Python 3.6 in June 23rd, 2020, and we work on a project called Opsdroid, which we also just adopted the same process. Like a bunch of libraries have adopted this. If it's good enough for NumPy, it's good enough for a bunch of people. What I want to do is make a Twitter bot which tweets periodically saying, you have 17 weeks left until you need to drop support for Python 3.7 or something like that. So what I want to do first is like basically this little support table here. I want to codify so I can like look stuff up, and it looks like somebody has helpfully done that in this library NEP 29, which it looks like they started making and then stopped making. Because there's like no description and there's not very much stuff, but there is a bit of usage here, and it was on pip, wasn't it? So let's come back over here. Let's have another shell. Let's conda activate Opsdroid. Let's pip install NEP 29, and then if we go NEP 29 3.6, it doesn't work. NEP 29 NumPy. Curious to know where they got their data, basically. They're calculating something somewhere, somehow. Okay, package here. Package equals args.package, and then we call NEP29 versions with package. So let's go to that. 995. Yeah, version dates for package name. Okay, so it's actually looking up the package dates. Okay, what if I put in NEP29 Opsdroid? That's interesting. What has that told me? Yeah, I know what you mean. I like when somebody's obviously done something for a reason and then they've like abandoned it halfway through. I like trying to come in and like do the detective work of like, what are they doing? Did they do what they were trying to do? Have they like figured out what they're doing? Have they done enough to actually make a useful thing? N months 24. I don't understand what these args are. Let's come back to the README. It might have said, and I just kind of skimmed past it. Stuff it. Why can't I click on the right thing? Okay. Number of months to keep supporting. Number of minor versions to keep supporting. Keep supporting what? That's what I don't understand. I think they might have actually. This is like NEP 29 for actual packages. So, number of minor versions to keep supporting. 2. Right. 0.19, 2020, 6, 16. That's today. 11.5, which is when Fedare released that. I mean, that's just the date that came out. Oh, it's n months, number of months to keep supporting. If I put in 18 months, is that just going to add that to those dates? Oh. N months. But isn't it like n months? It's literally there in this example. That's weird. Still don't understand. I don't think they got to where they were trying to go with this, to be honest. What I want to do is I want to think about Python versions and count down with a little timer how long the current base Python version has. That's what I want to do. So maybe I should hard code these things. Maybe I should go back to my support table that I was playing with before. These are the versions of Python. Oh, I did a pull request, didn't I? Which I think failed, but I think it failed for spurious reasons. It did. It failed for reduced coverage. I think is not my fault, so I'm going to squash and merge that. Bit naughty. Right. Because it doesn't actually reduce the coverage. That was something else. I think it's because I hadn't pulled master. Right, let's come back to my support table now. I just changed docs containing supported Python versions. Right. We do support 3.8. We just need to fix this page, but I want somebody else to fix it. Right. We have these release dates, and we could make those more specific. But what I think we should do is hard code these for a start. Yes, let's just do that. Let's just start there. I don't want to read that anymore. In here, we're going to have, let's make it a constant, because they should be constant. Python release dates. And then let's have some versions. So we'll go 3.6 was released, and then we're going to import date time. So from date time, import date time. So that will be a date time. And then Python 3 release date, September. Let's actually Google it again. Skill reminds me of an idea for a skill that could warn me if something is deprecated or have major version changes. Looking at Twitch, they change a lot of important things, and a lot of stuff stopped working, like embedders. Yeah, it would be nice to have alerts for these kind of things. This is kind of more just for visibility. I don't know if you've ever seen, there are like these Twitter bots that are like, we are 72% of the way through the year, and they just tweet like every day just to update the percentage of the way through the year that we are. I'm basically thinking of a bot like that to say we're 64% of the way through Python 3.6. That's kind of all I wanted to do with this. So I was going to Google, wasn't I? Python 3.5 release date. September 19th, 2006. Oh, 2.5. I can't type. And I think I put 3.6, didn't I? 3.6. We'll start with 3.6 because it is currently supported. It's the oldest that is currently supported. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to make. So December 23rd, 2016. So 2016, 12, 23. I think is how you do date times, isn't it? I never remember without looking these things up. And just double check. I like opening the REPL and just looking at something. Be like, yes, that makes sense. That date time looks like I would expect. Right. And then we're going to have 3.6, 3.7, and 3.8. 3.7, 3.8. And so Python 3.7's release date was June 27, 2018. 2018, June 27. And then 3.8 was October 14th, 2019. 19, October 14th. Okay. So I'm going to say something like current supported version equals, and then I want this number where this number is less than now. It's just live now. Yeah. So we need, there's a Python release date. Current supported version. I want the first item from the array where this plus 42 months is less than now. Right? I think that makes sense. So let's have a time delta months equals 42. Is that how you do that? No. Python date time delta months. Yeah. It's not quite what I want, is it? All of these seem to be using date util. I don't really want to use date util. Maybe I do just use date util. Yeah, fine. I'm going to install another package. Yet another dependency. I'm going to track these as well. Let's just. I don't want to be. I'm going to. No, I'm not. CD up to here. Let's just touch requirements dot text. This is a way you can specify requirements in here. I'd rather we didn't, but it just works. I must have done another shell. What was that Twitter Peony client? That one. Peony's documentation, installation. Add that to my requirements.txt. Fine. Okay. Peony Twitter or Python.util. Let's have a look at that. Stack Overflow. So I want to copy that line. I want that. Although I already put that down there. Alright, so 6 months. That's fine. What I want to do is current supported version. For version in current in Python version in that, right? If Python release dates version is now I want if now if datetime I want to do this, right? If datetime dot now is greater than that version plus 6 months, if less than. I might want to do this. I think actually I want to say I might even just make this a little function somewhere. Let's go static method def current supported. No, this will be a property. Property current supported version of Python. I like a static property actually, don't I? Anyway, let's have this property. I'm just going to get rid of that. So full version in that. Okay, so we basically want to say, we want to go through in order and say if this date plus 42 months is in the future, if now is less than that, then we want to return the version. Yeah. Version in that, date out, blah, 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 return version. So then I'm just going to debug that. I'm going to debug self.current supported version. All right, let's do that. Start it again. Okay. If I go NEP 29, get none. Why is that not happening? I kind of want to put a debugger into this. I think let's, I've not done this for a while. Let's set this up so I actually attach a debugger into this session. So let's create a launch.json file. And I want Python. And I've got Python installed. Python. Python's there. Oh, okay. Python is not installed there. Like the VS Code Python. That's annoying. Right, let's try again. Okay, launch.json file. Python module. That's what we want. Enter your module name, Opsdroid. And then this needs to be, I remember this. What we could really do with is for more information, go to this random Microsoft link. Okay. One like args. Oh, it's just args. Fine. So here, args is start. Right, so we're going to call Opsdroid start. I'm going to call this Opsdroid start. I want it to launch Opsdroid start into that kind of environment. That's fine. So that should call Opsdroid start. Got this. So if I put a breakpoint here and then run the debugger, wait. Wait. That's not. I need to do. When I launch this, I want to start that, and then have -f, and then the path to the. So this be /projects/skill NEP29 /configuration.yaml. I think that's what I want. Let's try that again. Start the debugger. Okay. So down here in my terminal, I got that, and then if I run NEP29, darn, didn't hit my breakpoint. Why didn't it hit my breakpoint? I think it's because Opsdroid copies the thing. Let's do this a different way. Let's have a setup.py example. Oh, look, is that a GitHub gist? Oh, look, that's fun. That's really too long. Setup.py examples. That's what I want. In the, where am I? Scale NEP29. Let's touch setup.py and let's open it. Yeah, right, let's put this in. So this is going to be called skill NEP29. And now I'm just going to call it skill NEP. It's a bit random, but let's call it 0.1.0. I'm gonna leave that, I'm gonna leave that, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna find packages. Yes, I am gonna have install requires. I'm actually gonna get rid of this. Let's have that. And that. I don't know if that'll work, but we'll find out. Let's do pip. I need to conda activate Opsdroid and pip install -z dot. Okay, so I've successfully installed skill NEP. And if I Python, can I import skill NEP? No. Why not? Import skill NEP. That's weird. Stop warning me about things. Because what I want to do actually is change my configuration. So instead of importing from the path of that, we import from the module skill NEP. Let's just that was not what I expected to happen there. Opsdroid start -f. That's already in use. I thought so, but oh, is it because my debug is still running? Stop. Well, that worked. NEP29. Oh, I'm not looking at it. Opsdroid debug -f. No, it was log, wasn't it? Logs -f. NEP29. None. Right. If I put that break. No, I'm not debugging, am I? Let's run the debugger again. NEP29. I just split that. Opsdroid logs -f. NEP29. Breakpoint. NEP29. Still not hitting my breakpoint, and I don't know why. Let's just pause a second and hit something. next line. Here we go. Where have we ended up? In the shell connector. Keep going. In the shell connector. That's the message. Okay, this is constructing the message. Fine. Okay. I'm in Opsdroid.parse now. Kind of where I'd expect to be. The parsers. I don't really want to do all of this. Why is that loading? It's very weird. Well, I've been going for a lot longer than I was kind of intending to today. I'm playing around with my debugger and stuff too much. But the point that I wanted to get to is get the current supported version and then work out when the future date is relative to now, and then tweet when the time's going to be. Obviously, I've got to wait for Twitter to like approve me, which is a bit of a shame. Let's make sure they haven't approved me. I need to confirm my email, apparently. I hadn't done already. Oh, it's asking me to log in. Do that. Oh, what are they filling for me? I want to paste. Paste. Plug in. Ooh. Take me to the Twitter thing. But that's not what I expected to happen. Why don't you just click a link in my email and approve myself? Confirm your email. Wow, that's not working better. Okay. I don't think I've been approved for my developer account, so this kind of hasn't allowed me to go off and do what I wanted to do. Not the end of the world, but I think I'm going to call this there. Sadly, didn't actually manage to achieve what I wanted to achieve, but thank you for stopping by. Thank you for watching. Next time will probably be a 30-minute pull request, so I hope that's enjoyable, and I will see you another time. Thanks, everyone.